Well, spring is here, so it's time to get out, walk, do some gardening, maybe play some golf.
Sometimes aches and pains make those hobbies less enjoyable, especially as we get older.
That's right. And so what can you do about it? Dr. Drew Drummond and Dr. Jason Slagle with the Spinal Balance Health Center, they're here to answer some of those questions. Good to see both of you. Thanks, doctors, for coming in.
Nice to be here again.
Listen, a lot of people accept those, aches and pains as kind of just part of aging. Do they really have to do that? Can they do something about that?
Well, there's no doubt there's changes that we go through as we get older. Yeah. But one of the more common things I hear when people come up to me with their aches and pains is they'll say, well, it's just a function of getting old. And it really is not. Otherwise, if it were just getting old that causes the back and the neck and the hips to hurt, then everybody that gets old would have the same problem. Yeah, but it's not the case. There's some people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s that don't have pain. So it's not just aging, it's usually aging in a posture that's not perfectly balanced. And when the posture is stressed over time, then it will start to wear out. But if you can address the posture issue, a lot of times you can avoid those aches and pains that keep people from being active when they get older.
Well, and the stress posture is something people have been doing for years. So what can they do about it?
Yeah. Well, the posture is interesting. Most people think that's the way they are. You'll have, this people thinking you're lazy.
I need to suddenly sit up much straighter right now.
Dr. Drummond has great posture the way it is.
Yeah, it's not necessarily laziness, and it's not because the tall girl wants to act short. It has to do with problems with the nervous system. What you see here is kind of a general video of how the nervous system works. The brain generates nerve impulses that go out to the body and instruct the body on what to do. It coordinates all body function. And then the body sends nerve impulses right back up the spinal cord to the brain. And it's this cascade of information that's taking place all the time that controls everything, whether it's digestion, balance, blood flow, and posture. So there are nerves that connect the back muscles to the brainstem. And when they're communicating properly, your brainstem controls posture in a way that you're able to then distribute gravity evenly through your framework because it's symmetrical. But once this function is altered, then you end up in these ugly postures that over time cause problems.
Yeah, and there's ways to deal with that. And you do something called NUCCA care, NUCCA treatment. And there's only, what, 300 doctors
Not many.
In the world that do this type of treatment? So how is this different?
What we found as NUCCA practitioners is that one of the main reasons that the posture will become imbalanced, leading into stress in the joints, is a misalignment at the top of the neck. There's a bone called your atlas bone. And when that's misaligned, it will start interfering with the nerves that connect your brainstem to your back muscles. And once that happens, it's just locked in that posture that's stressed, and then it wears out over time. But what we found is if we can accurately look at that misalignment, mathematically calculate how to correct it, then we can straighten a person's posture out at just about any age and see some of these pains go away on their own.
Well, Dr. Drummond, we've been seeing you for years.
Yes.
This is a new face for us. Yes. Welcome, Dr. Slagle. What got you interested in NUCCA and joining the Spinal Balance Health Center team?
Yeah. So in chiropractic, I was looking for a technique that was more scientific and calculated than what I was finding in normal chiropractic. So me and my buddy discovered NUCCA one day, and we're like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So one day my friend woke up and he had a tingly jaw and he couldn't breathe, and his heart was having heart palpitations, and he couldn't feel his fingertips. So instead of taking him to the emergency room like normal people, we decided to drive a couple hours and take him to a NUCCA doctor just to test it out, And
sounds like something a guy does with his buddy. Actually.
Try this.
Just like a lab rat, right? Just to test it. And so after the first adjustment, his jaw wasn't tingling anymore, and he could breathe, and his heart was beating normally, and he could feel his fingertips. And we were both blown away. So we were both sold at that point. So that's what I've been studying the last few years. Did some extra training in Southern Florida, and then decided to join Dr. Drummond here in Omaha.
Wow, so we've got 2 of the 300 NUCCA doctors sitting on this couch right here.
Omaha's NUCCA heavy.
But it is, but I think he makes a good point, though. He talks about the jaw tingling. It's not just pain in the back or pain in the legs that NUCCA can help treat. What are the other symptoms that can?
Well, once the central nervous system is affected, I mean, it's just limitless on what can happen with the body. Joint pain is what most people associate with chiropractic, so we talk about that a lot, but it's internal organ function. We can get headaches. Any kind of digestive function is very common to be caused by an upper cervical misalignment. There's just a whole full body healing effect that takes place when you start coordinating the systems appropriately.
Yeah.
Well, and I think one thing that it's important to point out to our viewers is just how gentle this is,
treatment
because a
itself,
lot of
right,
times
yeah.
people think about like cracking. And
I think that keeps a lot of people from getting chiropractic care because they're worried about it hurting somehow. This happens to be one of the more gentle techniques that there is. You can see me doing it here. There's only about a pound or two of pressure that's actually pushing on the neck, and it's very painless.
Well, some people wonder if you even did anything.
Yeah. I have to explain how it actually works to everybody because they just can't put it together until they start feeling better. It's immediate. We'll look at their posture of a person before I adjust them, and then it will adjust them and immediately stand them back up, and they can see the changes. Shoulders evening out, hips evening out, legs evening out, just feeling more balanced.
Yeah, well, if you've got problems, no matter what it is, if you have pain, if you have back problems, there's a whole variety of issues that NUCCA Care can treat. And Dr. Drummond brought this special offer in. The first 15 people who call are going to receive a consultation, an exam, and x-rays, all that for only $50. You want to call right away to those Spinal Balance Health Center, right off there on 142nd Street, 452-3400.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Good to see you, and nice to meet you, Dr. Slagle.
Thanks for coming
Thank you.
Good to see you guys. All right.